Hello everyone, JurassicJeremyJames here, bringing you his first video game review. Now today's game is for the Nintendo DS, and it was made in 2007 by Sing, the same people who brought you Trace Memory. That's right, today I'll be reviewing Hotel Dusk Room 215. Now this is actually a fun puzzle and mystery game, and it happens to be the first DS game that I ever played. It's very fun and enjoyable, but don't take my word for it just yet. Let's check into Hotel Dusk and get right into this review.
The game starts off with a flashback to New York 1976, where Detective Kyle Hyatt and his partner Brian Bradley have been working on a case involving a series of art thefts. However, Kyle learns that Bradley sold out the police to a criminal organization. After searching high and low throughout New York, Kyle finally ends up meeting Bradley at the docks. But before he can get any answers from Bradley, Kyle pulls his gun and shoots Bradley into the Hudson River. But Bradley's body is never found, and after taking all the heat from the force for the shooting, Kyle ends up turning in his badge. It's been 3 years since Kyle left the force, and he's now working as a door-to-door salesman for a company named Red Crown. Red Crown is a company that deals with household goods, but Ed the boss sometimes has a little side job of finding items that don't always want to be found. Kyle helps out from time to time, but Kyle's true motives for taking this job is to secretly find Bradley, who he believes is still alive. Ed gives Kyle a special assignment in which he needs to find some goods for a client at an old rundown hotel named Hotel Dusk. Kyle arrives at Hotel Dusk thinking that he'll just be doing another ordinary job, but little does he know that there's more to this hotel than what it appears to be, and that he may just find the answers he's looking for. You play as Kyle Hyde, a former New York detective. Kyle has a rough attitude, but when something grabs his attention, his intuition instantly comes into focus. When Kyle arrives at Hotel Dusk, he checks into room 215, a mysterious room which is rumored to grant wishes, but Kyle isn't one for fairy tales. Shortly after checking in, you'll be meeting a lot of people at Hotel Dusk. Dunning Smith is the owner of Hotel Dusk, who tells Kyle Hyde the mysterious stories of room 215. At first, he appears to be a very grumpy old man, but makes sure that Kyle has a good stay with the hotel by giving him a hand from time to time. Rose is the hard-working maid and cook at Hotel Dusk, who makes sure to remind you of that on many occasions, but sometimes she has a bit of a bad habit of talking too much. Louis Donano used to make a living in New York City picking pockets until he got busted time after time by Kyle. He now works at Hotel Dusk as a lazy bellhop in hopes of turning his life around and forgetting about his past. Now I like Louis in this game because he provides a lot of comedy relief and street talk, which makes him a pretty likable character. Mile is a mysterious young woman who comes to Hotel Dusk who appears to be mute, but what's strange about her is that she wears a bracelet almost identical to the one that Bradley wore when Kyle shot him 3 years ago. Martin Summers is a famous mystery novelist who always seems to talk in a very sophisticated manner. There's Melissa, an annoying little kid, and her father Kevin Woodward, a single father who struggles to raise her on his own. Other characters include Jeff Angel, who is a spoiled and punkish college student, Helen Parker, a kind old lady, and Iris, a sexy and flirtatious up-and-coming actress.
Now I like that there's a wide variety of characters in Hotel Dusk. I mean, it's a mystery game, so you need a big cast of characters to help create mystery, and Hotel Dusk does just that. All these characters are hiding their little secrets, and you need to find out what they are. And the more you interact with these characters, the more mysteries that begin to unfold. With a great cast of unique characters, it helps make Hotel Dusk that much more of an enjoyable game. So already Hotel Dusk has a great story and a great cast of characters, but that's just the beginning. What makes this game unique is that you don't play it like this like you would with most other DS games. Instead, you play it like this. You hold the DS like a notebook, using your stylus to interact with your surroundings, move around, and write notes in your notebook. Now what's helpful about this game is that you can change the settings to play from either right-handed to left-handed, which I took full advantage of, by the way. Now the microphone's hardly used at all in this game. I believe it's only in one scene so far that I've found. But with the unique use of the stylus in the DS, it definitely makes Hotel Dusk a standout game. Now there's a lot of different gameplay scenarios involved in this game, so let's not waste any time. Right now I'm going to give you a more in-depth look into the gameplay scenarios of Hotel Dusk.
One gameplay scenario of Hotel Dusk is solving puzzles. Now you'll come across a puzzle in this game either by interacting with something unusual in your surroundings, by using various items that you'll find laying around the hotel, or a combination of both. Some puzzles include lockpicking, cracking codes, and doing jigsaw puzzles. Now as for the difficulty of these puzzles, they're not too easy, but they're not brain-racking impossible either, which I believe is the perfect balance for any gamer. Another gameplay scenario in Hotel Dusk involves questions and answers. Sometimes when you talk to someone, they may let something slip that gets your attention. This will lead to choosing between two responses. Sometimes the conversations are casual, and depending on how you respond to them, the characters may treat you differently as you play on through the game. On the other hand, when the conversations are serious, there's only one right answer. If you say something offensive or illogical, you may miss out on an important hint or information, or worse, you could get kicked out of the hotel, which is game over for you. There's also times in this game when you get to ask the questions. When Kyle thinks he's learned enough about a certain situation, or has a very important question to ask, you'll once again be presented with two responses based on Kyle's reasoning. And just like before, there's one right answer and one wrong answer. This is how you'll solve the many mysteries hidden within Hotel Dusk. Now there's one more gameplay scenario in Hotel Dusk, but it basically falls under the questions and answers scenario, and that's the quiz scenario. With Hotel Dusk being a big mystery game, there can be times when the player is either overwhelmed, confused, or forgetful of the information that you've learned so far. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because at the end of every chapter, you'll be asked a series of questions involving particular events that have happened in the chapter. As before, you'll be given choices to pick from. If you state an incorrect answer, Kyle will explain why it's wrong. And if you give a correct answer, Kyle will elaborate and remind you more of why it's right. I think these chapter quizzes help Hotel Dusk greatly, because it helps give players a basic summary of the chapter and helps refresh their memory of the story so far. And to top it off, when you go to your notepad, there's a list of all the chapters you've completed, and it gives a complete summary of the chapter. Put all these different gameplay scenarios together, and you have a very fun game that'll keep players thinking.
Hotel Dusk is a game definitely worth checking out. I really enjoyed it personally. I think it had all the elements of a great mystery in there. The gameplay was unique in itself, the animation and graphics were great, especially the film noir style characters, and the music was perfect in this game. Every part in the game had a great piece of music to accompany it, and it fit the atmosphere perfectly. And what I really like is that you can listen to all these tunes in the jukebox in the restaurant. The more times you play the game, the more music becomes unlocked. Unfortunately though, there are some flaws associated with this game. First, there are no unlockables in this game other than the music, but there are some alternative endings and a secret ending you can achieve if you beat the game meeting certain requirements. Second, there's a lot of reading involved in this game, so if you're not a text adventure fan or you hate reading, then this game isn't for you. And thirdly and finally, some of the objects that are hidden are very difficult to pinpoint with the stylus pen. But other than that, I believe this is a very good game. You can pick it up for about $20 at most retail stores, but don't let the low price fool you into thinking it's a bad game, because this is a great game. I strongly recommend that you buy it. I give this game an 8 out of 10. Well, this concludes my review of Hotel Dusk Room 215 for the Nintendo DS. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back again soon with more videos. Thank you very much for watching. JurassicJeremyJames signing out.